Peter can't handle running all that at the same time.
Hey.
We tried.
We tried.
You guys a sneak preview into a potentially soon-to-be intro, maybe
intro. Yeah.
There's your tease.
Yep, that's just a tease. All of it was intentional. We're definitely not going to give you all of that too soon. We just want you to know that it's coming.
It's coming.
Yep. Ignore the easy joke, guys. I'm your host today, guys. I'm Dylan Camacho. You know me, you love me. I am Schmodown Nashville's #1 advocate and soon-to-be leader of the world. Also with me today is the wonderful intro-making Kelsey in the house.
Hi. Hopefully someday you'll get to actually see it.
Technical difficulties have always been our forte. Speaking of technical difficulties, we got the queen herself with them, Danny Joy.
That's me, y'all. Technical difficulties are my thing, so it's no wonder that the intro didn't want to play while I'm on. It happened. Hey, y'all.
Hope everybody's enjoying their wonderful Sunday evening. Thank you for joining us on this great time, and what a hand-packed. Yeah, I'm going with that. Guys, this week we're going to be covering all of these matches, from Star Wars match to the Inner Geekdom match, and we're going to take our not our hot cakes on it, but our hot takes, our thoughts and feelings on all of that. Let's start in with the Star Wars match. Let's start it from chronological order. It does help with that. Oh my God, I am so excited to see a Star Wars match again. Am I in the minority here, everybody?
No, it's like, honestly, it's my favorite division. So to finally see a match after a long time, I was so happy. I was like, finally, I've been missing you.
I know.
I feel like we haven't seen a Star Wars match in a long time, and I think that hi Jake, love you Jake. I think that this was fun. This was fun to see, and this was a great match. This was a good Star Wars match. So I'm not like the most knowledgeable in Star Wars, so I usually like kind of stay away from this division just because I'm not familiar with it. But this was a great match. This was a good match.
No, yeah, this match was solid. We knew kind of going in that the talents had already been talked about a little bit. We had them both have matches at Star Wars Celebration, which I did not get into despite being there. I'm not talking about it still. And so both Andrew DeMolanta and Laura Kelly both have shown that they were gems and already ready to go. They've been ready to go since back in April. So seeing a Star Wars match come up again was super just awesome to get back into the game. So technically Dylan is correct. I'll take that, Malcolm. Thank you for always making sure that I'm technically correct. But
you said Sunday and today's actually Saturday. So
did I? It's Sunday in New Zealand. Whatever. Man. All right, listen, y'all. I've had a week. It could easily be spectacular right now for me, and I wouldn't know any better. And for the excuse, I'll say that Danny's drinking and I'm drunk because of it. So
that's what happens to my co-hosts.
Right. But let's kind of just get into the meat of the match. So we had, let's get the entrances. Laura Kelly came out with her manager, whose name I'm forgetting, but both of them looked like rock stars. I love that they're doing managers in the Star Wars division because before it's just been players. And I just think that that little bit of managerness just adds that little bit of legitimacy that says, hey, maybe this will grow bigger into something,
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, they have a podcast together and they drink and talk about Star Wars or something like that. So that's definitely something that I'm going to have to find and get a little bit more into. And hopefully that'll help with my Star Wars knowledge a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to say I'm Schmodown level player ready to go into Star Wars. I'm a big fan of Star Wars. I love all the movies, even if you don't like them. If you're not a true Star Wars fan, if you don't hate all the movies at one point or another. I love the comics. I love all that, but I still just go into Star Wars matches and I just get floored by one-pointers. I'm like, I have no idea what they're even talking about at times.
They are so deep cut, and it just gets more and more deep cut every single match. It's like if they first started, I could kind of keep up. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an expert. This is
Uh-huh.
great. And now I'm like, how do you know this stuff?
Right.
I just like Rogue One. I had just watched Rogue One, and a trivia question would come up, and I'm like, I just watched that 2 hours ago, and I don't know.
Yeah. We've been having things where we've been rewatching Star Wars recently. We've got a charity event coming up towards the early end of next year. And a couple buddies haven't seen any of them, right? So we're just going through every single one of them. So I feel like the most prime I could be. I've just rewatched like 4 or 5. We're about to watch 6 again. And like questions with 4 and 5 came up, and I'm like, bro, I don't know. Like I just watched these too. But I don't want to skip over all of the entrances because Andrew DeMolanta had a dope entrance that the chat is already on board with. Go ahead and get it, Brian. You spawn. Saying that it was Bibiani level entrance. You're not wrong. He even put out a little video describing like the making of it and everything. What did everybody think? It was like jarring to me. I was like, oh,
my jaw dropped. Like
Right.
I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like, this is so amazing. I actually rewound it and watched it again just because I wanted to see it again.
Yeah.
I love it. It was so great. I think it's my favorite entrance of all time. It's gonna be kind of hard to top it for me.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it so much. It was so great.
It was very cute. I'm assuming that's his wife in the video with him. So having her kind of play with it in there, I thought it was super sweet and just a lot of fun. And I know that he played at the Star Wars event, but this is the first time that I had seen him. So for that to be an intro for him was big for me because, oh shit, this dude is into it. I'm into it. Let's do this.
Yeah, I think they came in just super strong, both of them, with either a manager entrance or just DeMolanta with this huge like flying an X-wing from into LA from Orlando, I believe.
No biggie.
Florida, yep.
Yeah, Florida. And you know what? I believe it. Florida has all sorts of wacky stuff going on over there. Why not like just have X-wings that are totally viable vehicles to drive there?
I was just there, and it's absolutely believable. Which, by the way, I met him, and I was in Florida, and he is one of the nicest people ever. I wish I could have gotten to talk to him more, but he was so nice. I'm excited to hopefully get to visit with him again in the future.
Oh, man. Danny, with the hot news on that, get him on the Call to Asian episode. Good time, Danny. You are not wrong. Oh gosh. God, remind me again. You're my favorite host in the chat of all time. I'm gonna get on that. Sorry, I'm hung up on my Call to Asian episodes in the future. But
trying to plan it out.
Without trying to leap ahead into my treasonous episodes that I do, let's get in a little bit into this match. So we're not going to go beat for beat because honestly, I don't have the match in front of me and I don't remember exactly how it goes. But it stays.
That's not how we do things here.
No, it's not.
No prep work.
I'm a firm believer of the Abby philosophy, where you just kind of talk about what you remember from the match.
Yeah, that's why Abby's a good friend of this podcast.
Yeah, Abby is a good friend of the podcast and a trendsetter in many ways. Round 1, I remember that they pretty much so Laura Kelly went perfect, and DeMolanta was just one question off, and it was a 725 to 1, but he was missing the to 1 part, and 2 points swung him. And honestly, that it probably make or breaks the whole match all the way up until that point.
Yeah, it did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was
did.
so close.
They went. The only reason why Laura Kelly was 2 points ahead after the first round was because she got her bonus question right. They both answered all of their questions right on the round 2 part of it, which was very impressive. They went to multiple choice, I think, but I'm pretty sure from my recollection that they got every question right for their own categories. Or was there still? The chat will tell us, so it doesn't matter. The
They
chat
always know more than we do, so it's fine.
Yeah.
More prepared for this than we are, but yeah, I vaguely remember them being perfect, or at least very near perfect, with maybe only one point miss and then multiple choice.
So what I do remember the most from this entire match was that each of them only missed one question. No, I'm sorry. Andrew missed 2 questions. Laura only missed 1.
Yeah.
And that's impressive.
Right. So if this wasn't a hotcakes episode, I would make this a big deal on why all of the leagues are very prestigious in their own way, and that Intergeekdom League isn't as big as the singles league or teams league. And listen, all of that aside, you have to look at what they're all bringing. Like the competitors in Star Wars and the competitors in, well, mostly Star Wars. Intergeekdom, there's definitely like 2 different tiers of players. Players that are only missing 1 or 2 questions, players that are missing 4 to 5 questions or more. In Star Wars, it just feels like they're all we're only missing 1 or 2 questions maybe at most now. It is insane what they know about this stuff. Like, And sure, all right, yeah, I only got 10 movies to watch, Dylan, whatever. Like, I've watched those movies all the time, and I still don't know half the questions. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Yeah, I think it just goes to show just how far challenges were used great. Yeah. And exactly to that point, where I was going to lead into it with, not only are they great in their niche topic and only being competitors for this is their second match each, they're already very well seasoned players on that. They used JTEs when they needed to. They had challenges ready whenever they were both landed. Challenges throughout the first and second round I thought were great. Demolanta did a great challenge where he was challenging between the canon versions of, well, in this scene, this happens here with this character, but in this scene, this one happens with Wedge. So being able to challenge that, and then challenge it and let it all go, like, this match is nuts for a rookie match still. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so impressive. I'm like that, not just in Star Wars, but in general. I feel like I'm seeing challenges a little bit more than I have been lately. I'm glad because I don't feel like they're utilized very much or correctly. And when I saw that challenge, I'm like, yes, finally it's being utilized correctly. Not only correctly, but really good strategy. He's talking about canon and stuff like that. Like, I had never thought about, because I know Star Wars stuff, but is it from the books? Because I read the books too, or is it from the movies?
right.
That distinction it was great. I loved that challenge.
Mm-hmm. And kind of even following into that as well is that, so I think I just love the fact that everything was used. GTEs were used for, I think both of them probably used all three of them. Maybe Laura Kelly maybe had one or two left at the end or something like that, and just because she just knew it. But yeah, exactly to your point, Kelsey, I think it says something to use all of the resources that you're given. A challenge is a resource. A JTE is a resource. And I think that I'll give credit to Snyder on this one, because I think he's probably been the best about using challenges to rattle a competitor. Like, he makes such a big deal about every challenge he does in any of his matches. But I think he knows, he's like, well, why not? I'm just going to, like, it's going to waste anyway, and I could possibly shake him by getting into the space and drawing it up. So I love your point that I want to see more of this in some of the other divisions as well. Inner Geekdom, we saw some of that, but we'll get to that in a little bit later on this video. Danny, did you feel overwhelmed on all of the Star Wars questions? Did you get 5 out of 10 or 5 out of 100 or all of the questions right?
I'm lucky if I get 2 out of any of an entire match when it comes to Star Wars. I've seen all of the movies. I haven't seen all of the deep cuts. Like, I haven't seen the Christmas special. Sorry, y'all. I haven't seen the Clone Wars movie, but I have seen all of the Star Wars movies, I guess, for people who are not in the fandom. So
right. But I mean, yeah, that's just not enough. Like, you haven't watched them 100 times today, then get out of here. They're not worth it. But yeah, Jake, yeah, to your point, I'm pointing out, Damon does seem pretty unstoppable. I'm also rooting for Laura Kelly, though. You know, here's the thing. Everybody has a bad day. Everybody gets the wrong set of questions, and you just suddenly blink on it. Sure, Alex Damon, since getting the belt, has seemed pretty much unstoppable. I'll give you that. Like, I can't imagine him losing the belt. But, you know, he hasn't played since April. And Laura's played recently, and Laura played on fire. I'm a big fan of Laura Kelly coming into this. I think just because for what she's shown, I think she's shown more efficient play as a Schmodown competitor than Damon has. Damon, sure, he has the trivia part. He doesn't have to think twice about JTE and stuff too much, or because, you know, he just knows it, which is great. But I think it goes to show that you have to up your next level. It's the difference between seeing somebody like Drew McWeeny, who is great at trivia and like just awesome at that part of the show, but when you get into the game mechanics, he's not really somebody who challenges a lot. He's not somebody who waits to the very last second to JTE often. McWeeny, for being a vet in this league, is still one of those people who I think tends to be a little less strong on the competitive edge, where, again, that's something that we'll hopefully start to see in the team tournament. Another thing I'm teasing for later on in this video. But any other thoughts on how the match went? Obviously, it came down to the wire with Laura Kelly pulling ahead, and Andrew Demolanta missing his 5-point question.
I'm just excited to see this league, and to know, like, the Spectacular is coming up in December. That's going to be so much fun. So we know who's playing for the Star Wars belt in Spectacular. I feel like a lot of what I had seen about the Star Wars division earlier in the year was the Sam Witwer fatigue. Just everyone kind of, the belt was only going back and forth between Sam and Ken and things like that. But now that we've seen Andrew come out and we've seen Laura come out, there's a clear there are people that are going to be coming for these belts and that are going to be coming with the same, stamina as these seasoned players like Alex, like Ken and Sam. If Sam were to ever come back, that would be a lot of fun. I really enjoyed watching Sam. I love to see people dominate like that. So even though a lot of people were kind of tired of watching him win, I loved it every time I would tune in and be like, yeah, I get it.
Right.
Same thing with Ken too. Anyone who dominates a category or anything like that, I'm a big fan of.
Yep.
Kelsey, do we feel like we want to see kind of that almost like Dan Murrell return in Star Wars League with saying that we're coming back, or do we feel like it's still? Do we want to let the league kind of grow into itself?
I would love to see the league grow. I actually rewatched the Iron Man match the other day just because I was in the mood for it, and Sam is just a beast. It's so great to watch him. But honestly, I want to see a girl with the Star Wars belt. I want to see her have it. So I want her to go in. I want her to beat everybody and just take the belt and be like, girls like Star Wars too. Like, you know what I mean? Because
Right.
even though I would love, honestly, what I think would be fun to happen is the match happens in Spectacular. Whoever wins. And then in the live fashion that happens at live events, Sam shows up and be like, oh, so you have the belt. I'm going to take it from you.
Don't tease me with that. I was just telling Danny and Kelsey before the show, I'm like, I really want to go to Spectacular, but I'm pretty much choosing to go to the award show whenever that's supposed to be. Harloff.
Let us know because we need to be there.
Yeah, I need to book a flight, or I need to book a flight to get there. But yeah, oh man, there's just the Spectacular is just looking more and more juicy by the minute. I do want to wrap up on the Star Wars thought with thinking that both Andrew and Laura Kelly were phenomenal. Like, just knockout, great match. These felt like 2 championship matches this week, both between that and the interdicted match.
Yes.
And for it to come down, and if I recall, and I'm kind of thinking back on it, I remember that Andrew came back to almost be in a position to win if he got his 5-pointer, but he didn't get his 5-pointer, so he lost.
Right.
And to come back from that position, knowing that it's razor thin this close and having to play from behind in a division where nobody misses questions, I think just as a mental stamina, man, that's so much praise to him. Laura Kelly coming out with the W, she's absolutely great. I can't wait to check out her own podcast with the day drinking and talking about Star Wars. That sounds right up our alley. Can we recruit her?
Laura Kelly, come on call.
Right. I know we said before we have too many hosts, but I would take 2 more for like just Star Wars drinking host on that. That would be great.
Yes.
Oh man. But those are just kind of the quick roundup thoughts. Any quick thoughts before I call Garth McMurray out from the chat?
Go ahead. You need to. Somebody needs to.
Yeah. Garth, hold on. Let's get Jake put you on blast saying Garth is voting for some fanatics over C2A.
Yep.
So I saw this already. We're everywhere, Garth. We are everywhere. And I already saw this on Facebook. And you were like, Cinefanatics is my favorite, all of this. And listen.
Oh, I did see that.
I love the Cinefanatics. I do. I watched like none of their videos. I love the dudes though. But love you guys. They're always popping in. You guys are big fans. And we're big fans of you guys, both in and out of the podcast world. But at the same time, Garth, come on, buddy. Who else? What? Yeah, you're in trouble. Yeah, you're in trouble. You know what? Dad just came home and the whole house is a mess. And you are the only one that's here with all the dirt on your fingers, Garth. What's going on, buddy? I don't know why I made that analogy.
Okay.
Daddy Dillon. Oh, hold on. I'll change my name on that one later. But let's transition to Inner Geekdom then. Speaking of daddies, I got nothing. I got no transition here. Chandru. So Chandru's with us, guys. Not in the chat, but he's in my heart in this match. Chandru versus Mets. Danny, Kelsey, what did you guys think? What was the quick thoughts? Was your head all the way off of your body by the time this match started?
So I'm a big fan of yelling in people's faces about not giving me spoilers because I love to watch all of this stuff. I know that a lot of the stuff is recorded in advance and stuff like that. So don't spoil this for me. And the tension leading up to this week's match with the Smasher and the Chosen, the way that people kept talking to me about it made me feel like Kevin was going to lose. So I was very nervous for this match coming up. So I was literally on the edge of my seat. You can watch it. We did a reaction. Kelsey and I did a reaction.
And we reacted.
We reacted.
We reacted.
And but it was a great match, and I think that watching Chandru just kind of be in his element. He didn't seem stressed. He didn't seem nervous. Really, just cool, calm, and collected, and just knew his answers and stuff like that. But those are just my overall thoughts of the match. Kelsey, you go.
Yeah, so when that match was a roller coaster, because there were moments where I'm like, okay, it's going one way, and then suddenly I'm like, oh my gosh, could Kevin lose this? Oh my gosh, he can't. I got to see him smashing spectacular. And then I'm also the internal battle of like, but Chandru's so great. He's friend of the show. I want him to win too. And so my mood was like this the whole entire time. But when it finally came to an end and I saw who won, I'm just like, well, this is how it's supposed to be. We need to have Smets versus Mike. We just have to. We needed that. It's a great revenge story. I want to see it live. So even it just played perfectly for me. Oh my gosh, you can see me cry on stream if you want to go check our reaction.
A little bit. It's not.
We may have cried a little bit.
Yeah, and I 100% don't blame you. We go into that match, and it's IG is both my favorite and least favorite division to watch because I have so many favorites in this league. Like I love Smets, I love Chandru, I love Hannah. Mike's even grown on me pretty well this year. And all these people, I'm just like, oh my god, they get into a match and I'm just so stressed. I'm just like, oh, I can't root against Chandru. Chandru's great, but oh gosh, I want to see Smets do a revenge tour on Kaminowski because he was this close. So yeah, just even going into the match was just a mental challenge, like a mental marathon to even get there to begin with. But we come in, and Kaiser brings in this weird box. Which had a bunch of holes in it, and everybody was unsure if there was apparently a snake or something in there. But hold on, Cinephax, we love Garth. Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I'm sure you do.
So God. Anyway, so they bring in. Welcome, guys. We love you too. So Kaiser brings in this box, and he has the sweet line with the shoes, and he's just like, well, you can dance your ass out of here, or, the much Kaiser-y thing way of saying it. But, oh, man, just from that point forward, I'm just like, we're about to get into it. And, boy, do we. The first round comes super close. Almost, I think it plays pretty much the same way as Laura Kelly and Andrew DeMolantis match, right? Like, no, they both miss one by the time it's all said and done. They end up with 9 or 8. Nobody gets a perfect round, but Smets was perfect for a while, and then Chandru misses, and then Smets misses on the tail end of that. But yeah, so no surprise at all. Round one, they're both totally on point, right on each other's necks. Then Chandru spins first. Yeah, Chandru spins first. Gets Marvel. I forget what he. No,
Kevin spun first. Got
right.
and spun away.
Yeah, he spun away and right into opponent's choice. That's right. And then Chandru got spinners. Yeah, that's right. Because it was spinners the opponents. That's it.
That's right.
And, oh man, talk about like you just go in and like mentally, even though like I'm still rooting for both of them. Like I definitely was giving Smets the edge going in, and seeing him spin first and land into opponents on the second one, you're just like, no.
My whole heart broke into watching Chandru place it on Who Said It.
Yeah.
Oh,
that category, oh my gosh. Every time I see it, I'm just like, that is the worst category ever. However, some people are good at it. Not me.
League pending, it's so hard. Intergeekdom, and I would say Intergeekdom is probably the worst offender of it because there's so many superheroes that can just interchangeably trade in lines. So that is just, yeah. But Smets smashed his way through, all puns intended, and got his way right on through that category, and did great. Like, he navigated it perfectly. He did exactly what he needed to and put him in the position into round 3. Going into round 3, do we think that it was just totally Chandru's game at that point, or what was everybody's thoughts on it going into that?
Honestly, by round 3, I thought he had it. I thought Chandru was going to win. That's when I started getting really stressed. But like after that round 3, I was exhausted already. Like I felt like I had ran a marathon and I'm just sitting here watching it on YouTube. It was just, I didn't know what to think at that point.
I felt pretty confident in Kevin the whole way through. I was very nervous that he was going to lose. But I knew he was gonna win. Sorry, Chandra, love you.
And Danny's heart, it was totally the fate was already written. Smets was going in, and as much as I wanted Chandru to pull ahead and win this match, it's a thing where I would just say it's Smets' rookie season in their geekdom. Like nobody, Chandru, Hannah, nobody, I don't think was going to take that away from him. And it's very poetic to have him and Mike again on Spectacular for the second one through, because it's one sentence off from just going into overtime. And I think that if Smets and Kalinowski in the time they play, if they went overtime, I think Smets takes it. It's going to be a crazy, intense, emotional match. Mike's going to cry, regardless. So
we're all going to cry, Dylan. We're all going to cry.
We're all going to cry no matter what happens. We're all going to cry.
Yeah, crying live. Some of us will be thinking, should I spend $500 to go to Spectacular? I don't know. We'll see.
Just spend all that money just to cry.
I know.
Cry in public.
Oh my god, I'm gonna start investing in waterproof mascara now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, just to make sure, both of you guys already set for Spectacular? Or I know Kelsey is. I didn't know Kate is as well. Okay. So if you want to support me, I can put my Venmo on in here later. Because I had to choose the brave and bold decision to go to the awards. Garth, I'm looking at you, buddy. Since you can't get our vote, you can at least give me a plane ticket. That's the fair thing to do.
Totally.
You're not going to vote for us. At least get us all there.
Yeah. Totally no hard feelings if you don't do any contributions at all, guys. I'm just playing. I will put my Venmo in there for later, just in case you guys just want to surprise me, though.
My Venmo will be in there as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Danny, you're already going. Shut up.
White Claw money.
It's White Claw money. That's right.
We're all so broke. This is the poor podcast. The Action House with Poor Camacho. Fuck out of here, Jake. I'll stay on the streets. I don't care. Whatever. It's LA. I'm just going to fly in that day. I don't even have to stay that night. I'll go right to the airport. I'll go to the airport hammered as hell, too, because we're getting wasted afterwards. But I'm being wasted at home while reacting on stream. Barking at my own tree. I can't afford my own ticket. That's fair, Garth. We're there in spirit, buddy. White Claw private jet.
I don't understand why our sponsorship hasn't gone through yet.
I know, right?
Sent
I have sent them emails and they just come unanswered. I don't know what their deal is. Maybe they have like a virus or something.
Well, to be fair, Danny, you are drinking Ultra right now. So.
Because there was no White Claw.
White Claw is sold out.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the match. So yeah, lots of feelings, lots of crazy things. Rushes all the way down to the end. Smets just snatches it from Chandru. Chandru on his last question, though. I remember as you were mentioning it, you're like, he's very calm and collected throughout the whole match. Both of them were taking deep breaths and before they're answering. And I'm just like, Smets, thank God you finally learned how to do this, because there's so many times I've seen him just answer. And that works for him like 95% of the time, but it's cost him at least his one loss. So seeing him take a minute, don't tell Harry. Shit!
Damn it, man.
No. He totally gets it right on that one. Gets it right, totally brings it in, pulls it from just nowhere and be able to come on in. Chandra, I remember on his last question, looked like he was in literal pain. Like, I remember there's a moment where you just see his face, and I'm not sure if he's going in for the kayfabe and just building up suspense, or if he actually was just like, oh man, like I'm struggling to get here on this. But he looked like he had just had my cooking, and it just looked like he was going through the grind of emotions, like he's, you know. So good to know that Chandru is one of us. He reacts just as well as we do to his matches. But with Smets going into Spectacular, what was everybody's thoughts after the match wrapped? Were we just like, all right, fatigue, done, just put me on break until Spectacular, I'm ready to go, or are we just ready for this team tournament now?
I am so ready for the team tournament. I am exhausted, honestly, but that's what energy drinks are for, so it's fine. And I'm excited for the team tournament. It's going to be so great.
I drink 3 cups of coffee a day. I'm not exhausted. But I am excited for the team tournament. And you can catch it on the stream, y'all. There's a part, I hope Hotcakes does an episode on the challenges that were brought up in this match specifically, because I feel like there's a lot of controversy going on with how the match ended and how it ultimately went down. And I say it in the stream, like that's something that's for the Facebook page. I'm gonna let the Facebook page deal with that.
Yeah.
It was really interesting to see all of that stuff, and that's where me myself, where I've seen Inner Geekdom movies. I've seen every single Harry Potter movie at least 3 times. I've never seen any Star Trek movies, anything like that, but I'm still not 100% soaked into an Inner Geekdom match to where I can instantly catch that's a wrong answer. You said it wrong and it slipped up and it got past the judges. So I didn't catch it either because I haven't had a chance to go back and rewatch the match from it, but to like listen. But that was really interesting to see that controversy and to kind of see it go over someone's head. And I know there is some talk in the Facebook page about having someone who's deep into Inner Geekdom right there, but Rachel Cushing was on the desk, y'all. Like,
yeah,
it's even reading it, like reading the difference in what he said, what Kevin said, and what the actual word was. Like, it's a 1-letter difference that I like just skimming through it. Like, I can't even see the difference reading it. So it is what it is, but it's interesting to see all of that stuff go down.
Right, and kind of before I start going into that one, real quick plug, if you are a fan of course, Alex MacDaddy herself, everybody stick around. Right after this episode, we'll be going right into Ladies' Night!
Surprise!
I still haven't got my invite. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe I'll get it here in a little bit. But
I thought, Kelsey, I thought you sent Dylan the invite to Ladies' Night.
Weird. I don't know.
It slipped my mind. I'll have to double check.
Be sure to check out Ladies' Night afterwards. Of course, I'm kidding. That's a Ladies' Night show. I'm not going to hop on and invade that one yet. We'll get there. But yeah, back to the challenge thing. Here's my hot cake. Here's the mini episode of this really quick. Is that because both challenges were, both people are, like, I'd say the whole thing is very challengeable. We have Chandru's challenge going in on, or Smet's challenge on Chandru for the Ariane answer. And honestly, that one's already tricky anyway, because like just as a viewer and some of Chandru's accent bleeding through some of the answers, that was really hard for me to gauge and be like, oh man, so we have to assume he says this or this. So it being 1 letter off, and with Chandru having an accent, I don't mean that to be a point of interest, but it affects how you hear a word. He could go back and say, no, I said that, and then they're like, oh well, the accent could have blended in. That could have been a lot of different ways that could have gone. But for that 1 little letter on that one to totally be missed, and then even going into Smet's answer, which everybody on Facebook has said, well, sanctum sempra, just that little bit of differences. Everybody's just like wanting to riot with challenges. I would have challenged this, I would have challenged that, and you're right. But here's the thing: the match went the way it did. Rachel in chat during the live stream of that episode said for Chandru's answer, whenever he had answered Ariane instead of Ariana, or he answered Ariana and it was Ariane, that she's right, yeah, it had been flipped. But she'd even said in chat, so players were made aware at the beginning of the season that the ruling was you get your one answer, you don't get to go in there and backtrack it before it's said and done. Now, this was something that, of course, we as fans don't know, so it's kind of like, understandably from our point, we've seen Sam Levine do this a ton of times. We've seen a lot of players go back and say, this answer, wait, this answer. They're like, okay. And then usually Harloff will say, which is it? Are you sure? Or whoever is on the desk. But with Rachel, with that behind the scenes info, kind of explaining that he said, well, you get your one answer. The first thing you say is your answer. We're locking that in. I think that's fair. But I also don't blame the fans for not knowing that, because none of us knew it until Rachel told us in live chat. Which does go to show that I do think that if my hot take is that the challenges are like everybody's challenge gate right now on Facebook. Like, whatever, you have it, the match happened, Rachel provided info, the players knew. That's what's important. I'm not going to try to go in there and be Chandru's manager in this chat and try to make it a big deal. It's like they knew ahead of time. So quit making as big of a deal of it. But I do agree, somebody made a post today that they were like, I want to see like the Schmodown and competitor rules made public so that we're all kind of aware as fans. I think that would be a great step for us to be able to sit there and just stop the lynch mobs that happen with this stuff from time to time, just being able to say, no, yeah, listen, the ruling is this, and we can all at least make very educated arguments. Because if I'm a competitor or if I'm a host or anybody in Schmodown that knows the rules, and I'm watching people argue on Facebook and it's like they don't even know the rules and they're fighting over it, like I'm like, they're just dumb. This is a dumb dumpster fire right now. If somebody had explained to them the rules, we wouldn't even be having this. So that's my hot take. Get a PDF. Yep, PDF on the rules. I want that yesterday. The only one brave enough to make that rule was Robert Meyer Burnett, as he was the commissioner on that one. So, yeah, ladies' night shirts are on sale on TeePublic for next 6 hours. Make sure to get one of those. Kelsey keeps telling us that we're not allowed to have call to Asian, something about trademarks in China, something Hong Kong. I don't know. I tune her out. Or whatever. I'm not hearing I got t-shirts yet, so we'll get there. But yeah, definitely go check out those Lady Night t-shirts. Check out all of our shirts. Automatic plug.
Call to action. Call to action. Get our shirt.
TeePublic. Get a bunch of shirts. Bring them to Schmodown Spectacular. Represent. Let's have a whole hood up in there. That's the goal.
I want to see a sea of call to action shirts in the audience from the camera on the live event. Just look at the audience, everyone wearing a call to action shirt.
I would cry. I would cry. I would literally cry.
I would legitimately cry if they panned to the audience and I just saw like not only my co-hosts but also all the fans wearing a bunch of like not all of them, but at least just a small section of them wearing call to like action shirts. Oh man, I would cry on live stream for it.
Bring up Jake's comment, the last comment that Jake brought up, because I am on Jake's side with this. I understand the wanting of a rule book and things like that. I don't necessarily think it's a necessity. I feel like it would just be a reason for people to extremely pick apart some of the matches and some of the things like that and just be overly critical about some of the rulings that happen, especially in challenges and stuff like that. So I'm not pushing for a rule book. I think a general rule book would be cool. It would be cool. But I don't think it's a necessity for fans.
No, yeah, for the fan side, it's totally just extra content at the end of the day. And for me, again, I don't think that we absolutely, it's not that we should have it. We definitely don't deserve it. I love Jake's point on being like, nobody's entitled to it. You're right. Like we are entitled to as much content as they provide us with. And if they chose to give us a rule book, that would just be icing on the cake. And I know there's a lot of people who, like myself or other people, would love to just have a rule book for the sake of doing that. And then they'll use that rule book to go back retroactively and say, well, Dan Murrell won against Andrew Ghai somehow with the rules or something like that. And listen, people will use the rules for evil. That is just the truth. I would rather just see it be competitors and let it play out. As long as competitors know, that's really what matters. But yeah, I agree. I don't think that we're entitled to it. I think it'd be a sweet gift. Or just like a behind-the-scene thing if they make it and they're just like, hey, it's already made. Here's the rules. Let's kind of go into that. Yeah. Most of it's common sense. Yeah, Eric, I agree that most of it, if you're watching the show, most of it's pretty common sense. Like a lot of the show explains itself in its own rules. I think really, again, just some of these little small things like they don't tell you, like the competitors are allowed one answer. The first thing they say out of their mouth is the official ruling. Small little stuff like that, I wouldn't mind just kind of like them saying, hey, this is this. And again, they don't need to give it to me. I know now because Rachel has posted about it. So that's it. Knowledge is there. But any other thoughts on the Inner Geekdom match before we start sneaking into our preview for what next week looks like?
Just super excited for Smith Kalinowski too. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Live.
Mm-hmm. Kelsey, who do you got for that? Since you've been notoriously a Mike fan for like all this season.
Okay, so KO against almost anybody else, I'm going for him. But against the Dungeon or Action Army people, he's never. Smasher, he's my first choice. He's going to win. It's going to be glorious. I'm going to cry. It's going to be great.
You're going to cry. Mike's going to cry several times. We already know what's coming. So Mike's going to cry, win or lose. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Mike's going to cry no matter what.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll cry no matter what either.
Also true. I will likely be tearing up afterwards, and I'll be like, Mike's a great player on that one, blah, 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 blah. I'm still toying with the idea if we actually want to do that. Kelsey the Praetor? Great. Nah, she's with us this time, Alex.
I'm with you this time.
I agree. We're all going to cry. It's
gonna cry.
I can't wait to see the chat for Schmodown Spectacular, just seeing cry emojis across the board.
Waterproof Mascara, a new sponsor.
Mm-hmm. Maybelline, hit us up.
Right. So, looking past this week and looking into the future, guys, I've got some hot news for you. If you haven't been paying attention to the schedule, we're getting not one, not two, not even four. We're getting three. We're getting 3 whole matches for like every week from now until Spectacular, I believe. Now, there might be a week in there where maybe that's not the case. But based on the schedule, we're getting matches Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, or occasionally Monday to Wednesday and Friday. Whatever, check the schedule. But, yeah, we're getting 3 matches from now until Spectacular with all of the tournament stuff coming up. It is going to be a wild next couple of weeks for not only just as a viewer, but I know for us as content producers and Reactor podcasts and everything like that, we're going to be so busy. We have so much content to cover now.
It's going to be so crazy.
Oh, we're going to have
Lights gone.
fun with the...
Thank goodness we started doing a schedule thing now, so we're trying to get that done. Kelsey, how's that looking next week, by the way?
People need to tell me their availability.
You heard it here first, call to action podcast hosts. Give your availability to Kelsey.
So I can schedule you.
Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't give anyone else permission to hound Kelsey for our schedule.
Just because Kelsey has all of our schedules, you are not allowed to get our schedules from Kelsey. It does not work both ways.
I mean, make it,
No.
Venmo will be in the description as well.
Yeah. Kelsey's Venmo is below the description for sure. What days will be available on that?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so these next few weeks are going to be nuts. We're going to have a lot of stuff coming in. A lot of really good matches coming up this next week. This next Monday, Tuesday, and Friday are going to be pretty intense for the Call to Action group. There's we got a Who's the Boss match coming up on Tuesday. We got a Time Machine match on Friday. Odd Couples and Only Stupid Answers on Monday. How are y'all feeling about that one?
Odd Couple, Only Stupid Answers. That I feel like that one's going to be go exactly how we think it's going to go. I think Odd Couple's just going to sweep in that match, call it a day, and then that's going to be that one. I'm definitely looking forward more to Inky and Who's the Boss and Time Machine against Scream Queens. I think both those matches also I think are going to be pretty straightforward. Like we already know who's probably going to win those matches on that. Inky might surprise us. I think Silver Strini is great, and she's going to come in and just swing in and always impress it like she always does. We'll see if Devon brings his game. If they spin Will Smith, fuck, we don't know. Maybe they bull ahead and they just win it. So, Kelsey, do we think we get any upsets this week?
I always like it when we have upsets. It keeps it interesting. I kind of don't think we will, though. I think it's kind of going to go how we expect.
Yeah.
You know, I always love to see something crazy happen, but I think it's kind of going to end up the way we think. So we'll see.
You on that boat as well? Is this one trick pony week where we kind of already know how the matches turn out?
I think it's going to be like that. I think if there's going to be any sort of upset, excuse me, sorry. If there's going to be any sort of upset, it's going to be, in my opinion, Only Stupid Answers over Odd Couple. I love the Odd Couple very much. Jeff Snyder and Mark Andrico are two of my all-time favorite competitors inside of the entire Schmodown League. So I would love to see them go far. I do think that they're going to win. They're the team that I have winning. But I think if there's going to be an upset, it's going to be Only Stupid Answers. Any other upset between Inky and the Brain and Inky and the Brain and Who's the Boss, if Inky takes it, then that's kind of going to ruin my whole tournament experience. No offense, Rachel Silvestrini. I love you very much, but I would love to see Ben compete for a belt. That would be great. Same thing with Time Machine and Scream Queens. I have Time Machine taking it almost all the way. They are on. No, they're not. They're not. They're on the left side of the bracket. And Who's the Boss and Family is on the right. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
They can move the finals.
My bracket has Time Machine going all the way to the finals. So I'm pumped for that team. Janine and Ethan, that's going to be a powerhouse, man.
I can't wait. We've got the one match with them already. I'll go ahead and just pull up at least my my bracket real quick. Spoilers, here's what the results for the whole rest of the season are looking like. Yeah, so we got Odd Couple, Time Machine over on this side. We got Who's the Boss and everybody over here. This is how I think it's going to go. The family winning, no surprise, because I'm not an idiot. I've been watching the show. I know how this is going to go. But, yeah, I think this week is going to be it's unlikely to see upsets. I think the following week after that has a lot more room for upsets on that side of the bracket, but we'll cover that when we get to it. We've got 3 tag matches to worry about before we get there, so I'm not going to leave that on that. But yeah, it's gonna get wild, guys. Like we're I think we're gonna try to get reactions on pretty much all of these videos coming out. Obviously, we're gonna do our call afterwards to reflect back on it. So be on the lookout because this channel is about to be exploding with content. As well as your availability over to Kelsey. Over here.
We would also like to request all of the other content creators for the Schmodown to send us the times that they're gonna stream, so we don't have to double stack this.
Yeah, if you guys could also put your schedules in our schedule, then
that'd be really helpful. Just
yeah.
DM me.
Kelsey, while I got you here, let's just go ahead and do business. Go ahead and put me down for Inky in the Brain and Who's the Boss reaction. Go ahead and put me down for that.
Okay.
And Family and Wildberries, that's a given. It's a Ben and a Drew match. Put me down for both. I'm there. See, look how hard that is, guys. It's not just pop into an episode. You get a webcam and a mic. You host a show for going on almost a year now. You make it award-winning quality. You make sure that Kelsey gets the right job, and then you do it in the middle of an episode. How hard is all that?
I would just like to send a big shout out to our what's the right word? Our
Content.
Not really, but now sort of is leader, Mr. Dylan Camacho.
Oh. Bow to me on that. Yes. No bows, no givens, anything like that.
Please don't choke his ego anymore.
Yeah, don't do it. I've been trying to take over this podcast for the whole time, and I finally got the vote for the Senate. That's behind the scenes. Danny is also part co-leadership on this stuff. That's some behind the scenes call to action politics on that one. We had a big business call this past weekend or so, shortly after my Hotcakes episode. Make sure to check that out. Maybe you'll get some insight into why we made a call and to get all that together. But yeah, the sort of is we kind of made some structured because there's 3 whole matches coming every week for the next couple of weeks. We needed to get a little bit more in line. So yeah.
We're doing it. Woo! We're giving the rundown a run for its money.
But there we go. That's why Danny gets the big money. You can catch her Venmo in the description below.
This is why we need super chats.
Got voted out. Dylan, I'm in charge. Good luck, buddy. I won by a lot. So I voted for myself no less than 3 times. That is fact.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, enough about call to action politics. You guys don't want to hear about that. And if you do, we can make a whole episode about it. Dylan told me to fuck off. No votes from me. Dick, to be fair, if you're in this chat, I've told you all to fuck off multiple times before. That's part of the reason why I love you and also dislike you. Sometimes you get treasonous. I got to cut you guys in line. You guys start saying a Schmodown Nashville isn't the place to go. Fuck y'all. No, it's happening. But you'll see more about that soon. But so coming up on this next week, obviously those matches we kind of expect them to go how we think they are. We'll get into next week's tag team matches and stuff like that. But as of right now, so I know we already did to be fair, yes, Jake, yes, we love Letterkenny here. Have you seen the last season? Tell me in the comments. So with all of that going on, and I know we did a Hotcakes episode kind of going into what me and Danny had for our brackets. Danny, do you still have Odd Couple going out on top? Is that still your
I still have Odd Couple taking the win.
Mm-hmm. Kelsey, looking at this impressive roster and team tournament we got going on, who do you got? Is it the same?
I keep going back and forth between two teams. You probably could figure out which teams because our family is in both of them.
Okay.
I think I have Who's the Boss taking everything.
Oh, Kelsey.
I want to see Ben win 2 belts in one night.
Can I get a Team Trader in the chat, everybody? Hashtag Team Trader. Kelsey in the house. Listen, all right, I can't say anything. Ben was super nice the last time he shouted out to me, and I said that I was going to go ahead and say ride the Ben wave with this one. But listen, here is as far as Who's the Boss is going to get it. They're going to get to the semifinals, play the family, and the family's got to they got to win. Like there's no way if they get to that scene momentum and start playing through, they take Who's the Boss. They're taking the whole tournament. You can't convince me otherwise. And that's not a slight against Janine and Erwin, who I have winning the other side. It could easily go to Shazam. It could easily go to Odd Couple. That side is crazy. But yeah, I really want to see the family come in and show that, that everybody's just been downplaying him. Andrew guy sucks. We need to watch that, blah, 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 blah. Nah, they're going to clean up, y'all. And whenever I'm right, I can be as smug as I want on this channel. I'm going to be so smug It's going to be thrilling. So that's why you can catch me on all the family matches reactions from now until the whole thing is all wrapped up. Kelsey, go ahead and book me all the way through.
Schedule in.
Dylan and I basically have the same bracket choices for this whole tournament, so I will be on that train with Dylan. Yes, so I will be there too because I do have the family taking the whole tournament.
Okay.
I do think they're going to win. I'm going in with blind loyalty here and just sticking to it. I got the family winning.
100% on board with that one. Let's go family. Before we start to kind of wrap up on this episode, here's my last quick second thought. So Bibbs hasn't used his number one contender shot in this year yet. If Shazam loses, does he go all in on this tournament, wait until the very last second, and it becomes a three-way match, Shazam, family, time machine, or odd couple possibly? Do we think that it happens? What do you guys think?
Do that many people fit at the desk?
Buy a new desk.
Standing, maybe. I don't have less chair space, but
Bibiani's gonna stand anyway, so he can just like stand over, and then everyone else will just be squished, or we just make them all stand.
Would a triple threat team match be too much? Is that too many people?
We've never seen it before. I'm always up for new stuff, so try it. I'll watch.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting. I'm inclined to say, like, I like the idea going into it just because I know that he's going to have that confidence knowing he can just pull that whenever he wants. And I do think it'd be sweet to see the first ever triple threat tag team match. I think that would be awesome, and especially having Shazam in there with whoever comes out on the right side of the bracket with whoever ends up being on that one. I'm giving it the time machine in my bracket, but, odd couple, it wouldn't surprise me either. Looney Bin wouldn't surprise me either as well, coming in, going with that long shot. I can't wait for them to upset that whole left side of the bracket.
That's going to be
That'd be cool.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. But what do you guys think in the chat? Do you guys think that he's going to cash in on this? Do you think he waits for singles again? I really do think he does the teams thing. He's really been stoked about him playing with Brendan Meyer on this one. So I think we're going to see it sooner rather than later. But we've seen Dan Merrill cash his in already, so let's see if Bibbs pulls his. Garth says if Bibbs cashed in and is challenged, and he could possibly play 3 matches and win 2 belts that night. I know everybody's going in and saying like, we want to see Ben do 3 matches, get 2 belts, clutch it out. Bibbs could do the same thing, man. He's right there next to Ben. It's wild how crazy it's going to be, but I'm super stoked for Spectacular coming up. I'm so excited for this team tournament to finally be starting. It feels like we've been talking about it for like 5 months now.
And now it's just going to come rapid fire.
I know, it's going to happen so fast now.
And now it's just content dump after content dump. Cancel all your plans, guys. Not only are the matches happening, Call to Action is covering every single one of them, and we're going to be all over the place with them. So be sure to tune into that. I thought I wasn't going to be here for the whole stream. Great point.
So you
Jake, you have a whole nother stream to watch after this, bud.
You have not 1, but 2 whole streams. One of them is Ladies Night. You can't ever miss Ladies Night. Make sure to check that out. But before we transition into that, let's go ahead and do a quick wrap-up. Kelsey, where can all the fans catch you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at KelseyKins90. I also run the Call to Action podcast Instagram, so I've been posting on there. TeePublic. There's a sale right now. T-shirts are like $13, so stock up. Not just ours. You should also get some Schmodown shirts because they're fun to collect like I do. And then also on Friday nights, I am a part of a D&D campaign that you can watch here on YouTube. I share on my personal Facebook the link to that, so keep an eye out for it.
Danny, where can they catch that Venmo info?
Hey, y'all. Y'all know where to find me every Sunday. Also, quick house cleaning thing, and I think we did it on the last episode. The next episode of Chill to Action will be on Monday. So Monday night, come and check us out on Chill to Action. Dun, dun, dun. With our favorite, Mr. Andrew Ghai. So we're going to have Ghai on for Monday Chill to Action. So come and watch that. Me, Paul, and we will have Richard Jarvie back on. So we get to have Jarvie back. We're excited for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Sunday, also, anyone who is a Patreon for the Team Action, on the Team Action Patreon, Action Industries Patreon, Sunday, they are doing their Patreon matches. So if you are not signed up for it, make sure that you go and sign up for the Action Industries Patreon. Links will be somewhere. You will find it. Or there you go. There it is.
Kelsey.
Go and sign up so you can get a part, so you can be involved in that and get into that. It's a new segment that they're doing on Sundays. I believe it's going to be every other Sunday. So we're going to see how that works with Chill, and we'll get back to you on all of that stuff. You can also find me here in an hour or so with my sweetie pie, Kelsey Kins, and with my sweet, lovely Miss Alex Mack. She is in the chat hanging out. We were all going to be hanging out. Have we said what we're going to do? Do we want to say what we're going to do?
I think we should tease it for people who are watching, because they're being loyal fans and watching. We should say what we're doing.
Yeah, we're going to have, wait, you said we should say?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to be, I don't know. You all will have time. You will have an hour between now and then, an hour-ish between now and then, to go and vote on our call to action Twitter page. On our little Twitter handle, we have a voting thing for what is your favorite match. The three of us are going to drink some booze, and we're going to react to some old matches. So we're going to talk some shit. Woo! Go vote. Make sure that you vote on Twitter for which episode that we're going to react to. We haven't decided which one yet, so we're going to let Twitter decide that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of voting, you can always make sure to vote on November 5th. It's election day, y'all. Go vote out. Make sure to get those stickers. They are sweet. Also, some other sweet votes you can do. Make sure that sooner or later, probably sooner, we're going to get those Smowdown Award votes coming on through. And make sure you're voting for you-know-who. Call to Action podcast. Right up here, we got a logo. We have possibly an intro coming in. Future award winner. That's nothing against any of our competition at all, but we're winning. And I've said multiple times, even if we didn't somehow win this award, it will still be in our possession by the time that this show is over. I am, of course, Dylan Camacho. You can catch me here at this podcast at all times, making sure that it's running like a sinking operational ship. Not sinking, it's getting out of the water. You can catch me over on any of my segments that I usually tend to do out of the blue. You can catch me on Hotcakes, Call to Asian. I have a great idea from Danny Cost and bringing in Andrew DeMolanta. That's not confirmed. I'm going to work on it, though. That's a pretty sweet episode. I think I might try to do a Hotcakes next week. There's some interesting city information. And if you know anything about me, you know I'm a big person with Schmodown Live being in cities. So some interesting stuff came out. I'm going to see if I can get some more information and maybe do a Hotcakes next week. Stay tuned. Otherwise, you can make sure to catch us with not one, not two, but 3 whole reactions probably coming up next week. If not, we're covering all of these ones. Make sure to keep an eye out for that whenever those drop. That's a Kelsey question. She's the one who does the schedules. Again, send your info to her. And Camacho, you can catch me on Twitter at CAMACH Octopus. Make sure to tweet me out. Make sure to go like the comment. We're trying to get Emma Fife on Shill. Just keep liking it. I think if you just put a whole bunch of likes and favorites to it, maybe she'll come on. I don't know.
Please.
Yeah. Maybe not. Emma, we love you. Come on to the show. Otherwise, that's our show, guys. Make sure to tune in here in just not too long from now, about an hour from now for Ladies Night. That's going to be a great episode. Wonderful hosts. Thank you, Kelsey and Danny, for joining me on today's episode. I will see you all here soonish, I guess. Later, guys.
It always takes so long to end.
I know. I hate that.